Concerning our brother Apollos, I strongly urge him to visit you with the other brothers. It is Wednesday, September the 14th, 2022. Clive Walsh here, drawing your attention to our devotional thought for today and trusting that you will be encouraged and ministered to as you sit for about 5 minutes and take in what God by His Spirit might say to you through today's devotional thought, which is entitled, Sharing in Service. And the verse today, 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 12, and it reads, Concerning our brother Apollos, I strongly urge him to visit you with the other brothers. That's 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 12. Pastor Alistair Begg writes, The body of Christ is no place for one-man bands, at least when it comes to the work of the ministry. The Christian life is a team game, not a competition. The Apostle Paul reminds us of this time and time again in his letters to the early church. Even in the infancy of the Corinthian church, Paul knew turf wars were a threat and that some people favored Apollos' care over his. 1 Corinthians 3, verses 3 through 7. If Paul himself had been looking out for his own interests and to boost his own reputation and this church's reliance on him, he could have made certain that Apollos never returned to Corinth. But we read that he didn't do that. Quite the opposite, in fact. All he wanted was for God's people to be ministered to. He knew that ministry was designed to be a shared effort. God chose to put the early church ministry team together in a wonderful way. Take Timothy, for example. Paul told the Corinthians, When Timothy comes, see that you put him at ease among you, for he is doing the work of the Lord as I am. So let no one despise him. Help him on his way in peace, that he may return to me, for I am expecting him with the brothers. 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verses 10 and 11. To many, Timothy would have appeared inadequate for service. He was naturally timid, which is likely why Paul reminded the church to treat him kindly. Physically frail, he was known to take a little wine for the sake of his stomach, and younger than most, 1 Timothy chapter 4:12 and 1 Timothy chapter 5 verse 23. But Paul knew that God had assigned a task to Timothy, and he meant to help him fulfill it. A host of others, men and women like Phoebe, Persia, Aquila, Fortunus, and Achaicus, rallied around the ministry with Paul also. None of them looked or acted the same. They weren't gifted in the same way, but they were still all vital to the work of the ministry. The same is true of the church today. We are all entrusted with different tasks by the Lord. It is therefore crucial that we resist the urge to serve only with those to whom we are most familiar or with whom we are most impressed. We shouldn't say, well, I only like the way he preaches. I can only listen to her voice, or I just don't get on with him. Instead, we should be gracious and grateful for all of God's servants. Most of us will live our lives without anyone knowing about us beyond our intimate circle of influence, but it can be enough for our epitaph to read, Here lies so-and-so, a great help to those she knew. Do you believe that there's a work for Jesus none but you can do? When God puts His hand on you and assigns you a task, do you take it seriously, even if it seems inconsequential? We are meant to serve Him together in community as a unified team on behalf of His kingdom. There will be joy and satisfaction in playing your part and encouraging others as they play theirs today. What a beautiful, beautiful devotional thought reminding us of the task, the function, and the purpose that we each have in the body of Christ. So do your part, do it joyfully, and do it with all your heart, because remember, we are a team. We're not in competition. Well, for those of you reading through the scriptures, your assignment today, Judges chapter 19, 20, and 21, and the Gospel of John chapter 6, verses 1 through 21. And may the Lord richly bless you. My name is Clive Welsh.